I'm with the Stevens Point Police Department. Been a detective for about 10 years. I have 2 children that go to Spash High School. They've grown up here. They went to Jefferson School. They went to P.J. Jacobs. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know everything about marijuana. I was the drug investigator for about 6 years. But I will tell you something that I've learned through the last probably 10 years, something that I tell my kids, something I tell my kids' friends, something I tell my friends that have kids. I've spoken with hundreds, if not into the thousands of people that have been affected by drug addicts. And I'm talking about heroin addicts, meth addicts. I've investigated dozens of overdose cases, including numerous deaths of young people that should not have died due to these same drugs. Out of all these people I've spoken to, I started early on when I was doing the drug thing because this has always been a debate. Well, not always, but for quite a few years already. And one of the things I asked all these people that I've dealt with, whose lives have been ruined, who had ruined a lot of their families' lives and so forth, was if they had started with marijuana. And every single one of them, to this day, said yes. Not going to sit here, I didn't ask them about alcohol. Did they also drink before that? They probably did. I'm not going to deny that. So what am I saying? Am I saying if you smoke marijuana, you're going to be a heroin addict? Absolutely not. I know people in my family and friends that smoke marijuana. Some of them lead normal lives and do good things. But the one thing I'm going to tell you, and the thing I tell my kids, if they don't try marijuana, I will almost guarantee that they're never going to be a heroin addict or a meth addict. And that's just based on the stuff that I've seen, the people I've talked to over the years, and so forth. Not one of them has ever said that they went out and they just decided to start meth or use heroin or shoot up heroin. They all said they used marijuana first. To me, that's pretty good information. I think, like I said, I tell my friends that who have kids. And I think back to this, the change in the fine amount, I think we need a deterrent for our young people not to do this drug. I think everybody here speeds. If the speeding tickets were $50, do you think you'd see more people speeding on I-39? I think you would. And I think it's the same thing. I think if we lowered this fine down to what we were talking about, I think there's more kids out there, more young adults, I should say, because obviously it would still be illegal for kids, but I think there would still be more young adults that would have this more readily available. They'd be more willing to try it, and I think we need a deterrent. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up, Joshua Rosenkrantz. Could you spell your last name for the record, please? I think I got it right.
It's Rosenkrantz. I'm at 1725 4th Avenue.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I believe that legislation regarding this issue should go through. I believe that the fine should be lower. You see, Wisconsin is currently experiencing an opiate epidemic. These are drugs that are no joke. Heroin and fentanyl are both very dangerous killers. However, focusing on low-level drugs such as cannabis, such as marijuana, it's not going to solve the problem. You see, marijuana in areas, I have some evidence that even shows that states that have actually legalized marijuana have found that there's a 25% drop in hard drug use. So, I don't have the experience, I don't have the personal experience that our law enforcement officers do with regards to this subject. I haven't seen the things that they've seen. I only know I'm just someone who's looking at the numbers side of things on a national scale. I'm quite sure that this proposal is going to be met with, like I said, that would still be drugs. However, the gateway theory, there is yet to be any scientific evidence or evidence of any sort that really corroborates that, aside from claims from the law enforcement community. I think that those comments from our law enforcement community should definitely be taken into account. However, I also believe that harder drugs such as heroin and meth and crack cocaine pose a much more serious threat to our society than cannabis does currently. I'm currently working with UW Stevens Point SGA to pass a resolution on this issue. I don't know how long that will take, but we'll just see where it goes. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, District Attorney Louis Malewski Jr.
Chairman, members, I have distributed my memo to you. I assume everybody got it. I appreciate it to the clerk for handing that out. I would just, there are a lot of people want to talk tonight, but I would just say this. If you're going to do this, I just ask that you potentially consider running into the Portage County Justice Coalition. There, the city attorney is there, your law enforcement representatives are there, Portage County, Plover, the WSP, their police department, everyone, so we all can be on the same page. Currently, we do have a separate forfeiture amount. It's not a fine. Sorry, John. It's a forfeiture. It's not criminal, but Village of Plover, it has the most liberal law in our county. You can have any amount in any number of, well, up to 25 grams, excuse me. They adopted the old statute. Everybody else is 5 grams, and then you need an ordinance as long as you're a first-time offender. The legislature, as it laid out in my memo, gives you the authority to adopt an ordinance for any amount and any number of priors. So you can have 12 first offenses, and you still can get an ordinance. It's not how we do it here in Portage County, but that's something I think just in the big picture, I'd like you to consider. I, as a legislator, supported medical marijuana for people with problems. There are 113 different cannabinoids. Some are obviously are good for people who have taking certain cancer or drugs, other people with rejection of food. There is some understanding that it actually helps. Big ideas, big picture, make sure we don't do it as one body. The city of Milwaukee did do the $5 thing, and then amended to $50, and then they tabled the proposal. That was in 15. The other thing I would just ask you to think about is, one, come to our Portage County Adult Drug Court, meet the members. Many of these people are just a fraction away from going to prison. They've been in prison. Many of them use THC and other harder drugs. So in the big picture, think about societal benefits, pros and cons. And I didn't mean to be cute, no disrespect to the board, but this would make it less of an offense than to skateboard downtown, where you allow 5 days in jail and a $25 forfeiture. So you just want to consider how you do that. Same with drinking alcohol at your car, for example, or littering, and you can get 60 days in jail, whereas this you couldn't. So be happy to work with Alderwoman McComb or any other member on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. And Troy, anything to add? Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Troy Stepple, Assistant Vice Chancellor, Dean of Students at the University, 4709 Nicolay, here in beautiful Stevens Point. Thank you all, thank you Mayor, thank all of you for taking a little time to read my note earlier today. I do appreciate the offer for input. I would just publicly affirm that I would not support passage of this. I very much appreciate the research done by our elders into this issue and the unique nature that it plays in our community. As the person responsible for the, in some way, the behavior of 8,000 college students and members of this community, if you're found responsible on campus for underage or for possession or use of marijuana, we charge that student $200 and require them to do an educational course about that. So as we're considering future change, given the motion currently on the floor, I would just agree with our district attorney and others that we do some great research to make sure that what we're doing for our community and for the state of Wisconsin is in line with what we value in the state of Wisconsin. Thanks.
Thank you. And that exhausts our speaker list. Alderpersons, bringing it back to you. The motion on the